4 ways to buy rental property. Let's go. Question I get a lot. How do I get started with buying rental property? Hey, I only have $5,000 or $10,000. Can I get started with buying rental properties? And absolutely, yes, you can. I'm gonna go over the 4 ways, right? Number one, your number one way that you wanna buy property should be owner financing. Getting the property on terms, but owner financing. I'm gonna break that down to you. This is how I got my first few rental properties when I started buying the correct way using creative real estate strategies. You negotiate a deal with the owner where you don't have to pay him cash, right? Let's say you negotiate, and I'm going to use realistic numbers, $140,000. So you go to the owner, you say, hey, so I can pay $140,000, I can put $5,000 down, all right? Sometimes you can do 0 down. It's whatever you negotiate and what you offer. And I'll pay you the balance monthly. And what you would say is, are you open to taking your equity in monthly installments? Okay, and then they're gonna say, what's that? What do you mean? Well, I give you $5,000 down, and then from there, I will make you a monthly payment on what we agree on, $135,000. Guys, ideally, I want to do it with no interest, right? Ideally, with no interest, but it might be an interest. Interest rates are about 5% right now, so they might do it for 6, 7, or 5%. It's whatever you negotiate. They might do it for 4. It's whatever you negotiate. Okay, and then what happens is they hold the balance for the lifetime of the loan. Even if I have a 5-year balloon, a 5-year balloon is meaning that everything is due in 5 years. So that means either you got to refinance with a traditional bank, or you have to pay it off regardless of what. So if I'm doing a 5-year balloon, I try to get a 30-year amortization schedule. What that means is payments stretched out over 30 years. You can Google 30-year amortization schedules, calculators and all that, mortgage calculators to plug these numbers in. Number 2, subject to investing. When you are looking for deals, you're gonna find people who are losing their property. So going after pre-foreclosures, this is a good way to find real estate deals, and find subject to deals. Or you just come across people who are in a bind, they can't pay their mortgage. What you're going to do is you're going to take over their payments. You take over their payments, and yes, the deed does exchange ownership. You take over their payments. From you taking over their payments, what happens next is you start making their payments go forward. So let's say they got a house is worth $200,000, but they owe $100,000, but they're losing the house, right? And they're 3 payments behind. Their mortgage payment is $700 a month, right? What you can do is you can say, hey, listen, what if I can save your credit so that you can go on and rent something else and maybe give you some money to move or whatever the case may be. With the 3 payments, you know you have to pay $2,100 because you got to catch up the payments with the bank. So that's $2,100, and you might have to give them some money to move. Sometimes I've got away with not giving them any money because they just were like, yo, if you can save my credit, that's the best thing, you know, we can do. So now, you know, in 2022, if you're in any major city, a $200,000 house is probably going to rent for, on the low end, $1,500. So you're at least doubling your monthly payment, which is great cash flow, you know, excellent cash flow when you can find deals like that. And the way you find deals like that is by going off market. But subject to is one way I buy rentals. So far we covered owner financing, we covered subject to. Number 3, others people's money. If you're like me, you probably didn't have access to that because I got started young and I'm from a low income environment, whereas I didn't know nobody who had money, let alone who was sophisticated enough that had money and wanted to invest their money. But this is a great way to get started. That's not everybody's story. Some people actually do have family and friends who do have disposable income and money sitting in the bank and is not earning them much. So you can use OPM. In the beginning of my career, the first 2 strategies were how I picked up my beginning rentals once I learned about creative real estate investing. However, with the OPM, it's a good method if you have access to that. Others people's money. You're basically going to friends and family and raising money for properties. The way you make them feel secure is you let them know, hey, once you lend me, so let's say we found this deal right here for $140,000, right? You, instead of putting $60,000 in, you're gonna put $30,000 just to get and keep it as a rental, because you know it can probably rent for $1,800, right? So you say, hey, listen, I am going to buy this house for $140,000 and I'm gonna need $30,000 in funds to fix it up, or you might have your own funds to fix it up, right? So, or you might fix it up yourself. But you let them know they're secure because you're going to be in first position First position meaning that they're gonna have a mortgage attached to the property. You're going to pay them monthly, or you're gonna pay them at the end whenever you guys negotiate, right? So let's say, and you come up with an interest rate, or you come up and give them equity in the property, but an interest rate, the bank is probably paying like point something percent. You say, hey, what if I gave you 8% to invest in this deal? You know, it's intriguing. And then they record, attorney usually does all the paperwork, and they'll record that against the property. In the event that you default, they take the property back and you have to walk. I think this property I got for 140. In its current condition, it'll probably sell for like 160, 165. If I were to list it, maybe push 170. That's just, you know, how that one would work. That is the third way, others people's money. Now, if you know somebody at your job or has a job that has a lot of money, right, in their retirement account, let's say they got 150,000 in their retirement account. Did you know you can contact a company like AmericanIRA.com? You guys can do a three-way call, have them get a self-directed IRA, and they can actually lend out of their IRA so that you can get this property. Multiple people have lent to me out of their IRA throughout my real estate career. I never had a lender lose money on one of my deals. Even if I gotta lose money, the lender makes everything that they were supposed to make. I never lost a lender's money, thankfully. However, with that being said, doing that, right? So let's say you meet, or your Aunt Jane, she has 250,000 in her retirement account. You say, hey, Aunt Jane, what if I can start paying you 8%? And you don't even have to put the whole thing in there. You can start with like 140. She can do a rollover into the IRA, okay? Then she can lend you the money and all that, and American IRA will literally handle everything for you. AmericanIRA.com. Ask for my man, Sean, S-E-A-N. I'll put his email on the screen if that's the route you want to go. Last but not least, let's get to it. The fourth way to buy rental property, I'm not saying it's the best way, but this is why I did this one last, which is cash. Having your cash to buy rental property. So depending on where you at. Do I own some properties I bought cash? Absolutely. But, you know, if you have a high income job, right? Like a high earning job, let's say you make $150,000, $200,000 a year, and you have money sitting in the savings, well, you can just buy undervalued real estate, okay? You want to be 70 to 75% all in of the ARV. So on this house is worth about 280. So I would say on a property like this, you want to be all in about 190, 200 max all in, ideally to protect your investment, but that's one way to do it. Now, when this Charlotte was cheap, you know, buying $30,000 and $40,000 houses, I know guys who were doing that, and they were buying 30 and 40, every time they get 30 and 40,000, they just go buy rental, buy rental, buy rental, and now they're retired. So it's a great way, especially if your city offers 30, 40, and $50,000 rentals. That's a great way to do it, and you're in a high income position, meaning that you're a wholesaler who makes good money, you have a high income W-2. So that's the 4 ways, guys. If you're looking next to me, I need you to click on the video next to me so you can watch that, man. I'm Nasser, AKA the real estate guru. I'm not a guru because I actually do this business, man. I'm a guru. So also comment below, right? What you think? Any of those 4 ways, are they helpful to you? Can you use any of that information I just told you?